Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Smolensk.
Town of Smolensk is the capital of the Smolensk province, which is the Russian most western area. More to the west is situated only the Russian exclave Kaliningrad. The total area of the Smolensk province is about 50,000 square kilometers. It is position 56 Russian-wide. With its 1 million people, the Smolensk province ranks position 53 out of 83 Russian federal subjects. The town of Smolensk itself has 315,000 inhabitants. It is 30 times smaller than Moscow, 24 times smaller than London, 10 times smaller than Berlin, 5 times smaller than Warsaw, and almost twice as much as the population of Reykjavik. Smolensk was first recorded in the Chronicle of Vostok. It related then in 863 to Scandinavian princes Ascot and Dir, while on their way from Novgorod to Kiev came across a fortified town, which seemed to them so big and densely populated that they even didn't dare to approach the town, but reasonably preferred to continue their voyage. This town was Smolensk. In the 11th century, the independent principality of Smolensk had been established. In the 12th century, it witnessed its time of glory. The town's population reached 35,000. In that time, more than 30 churches had been constructed. 3 of them came down to the present day. Saints Peter and Paul Church is the oldest church in Smolensk, built in 1140. The second oldest church is the John the Evangelist Church, constructed in 1160. The Archangel Michael Church is built in the late 12th century, not far away from the place where Prince Gleb, the first Russian saint, is killed and buried. The contemporaries called it a pearl of architecture of those days and compared it to the taking off bird. Unfortunately, not much of the former glory and beauty remained. All 3 of them are working churches now. In the 1990s, they were reconstructed and taken over by the Russian Orthodox Church. The time of glory of the Smolensk Principality didn't last long. The next centuries brought much sorrow, feud and succession wars, territorial cessions and loss of independence. The citizens of Smolensk fought against many foreign invaders. In 1239, they defeated the Mongols. In the decisive battle fell the commander of the Smolensk troops, Mercurius, who is today one of the most important local saints, and whose metal knight shoes are displayed in the central aisle of the Assumption Cathedral. The town witnessed 2 horrific outbreaks of plague. During the second one in 1387, the town died out completely. The last 5 inhabitants left the town and locked the town gate. For a while, Smolensk remained unpopulated. Under Vasily III, Smolensk was incorporated into the Grand Duchy of Moscow. The most dangerous rival of Moscovia at that time was the Commonwealth of Poland and Lithuania, which also considered Smolensk as their own territories. In the 16th century, Poland had much stronger economy and nearly 1 million more people. After Poland and Lithuania signed the Union of Lublin, Smolensk felt endangered as never before. In 1595, Fyodor Koń, one of the best architects of that time, was ordered to go to Smolensk. In the next year, Boris Godunov, the future Russian Tsar, laid the cornerstone for the new fortress wall. Thanks to enormous efforts, the fortress wall was completed by 1602. The fortification was 6.5 kilometers long, of which about 3 kilometers are preserved. The town was encircled by 38 towers, 17 survived until now. The wall was really impressive, 4 to 6 meters strong and 12 to 19 meters high. The most characteristic feature of the Smolensk fortress wall are 3 levels of crenels, which are arrayed in staggered rows. The 2 meters high merlons, the so-called swallowtails, are elegant and threatening at the same time. The upper walkway was 4.5 meters wide, so broad that a troika, a traditional Russian harness-driving combination of 3 horses, could easily ride along. The towers were either round or rectangular in shape. None of them had an entry gate. The passage through 2 main towers ran in a straight line. The other 7 gateways were built at an angle to provide better defense. The distance between the towers was roughly 160 meters. The fortress wall was surrounded by a deep water-filled ditch and a high earthen rampart. Soon after, the new fortress was put to the test. In September 1609, the Polish King Sigismund III Vasa, with his 35,000 troops, appeared at the gates of Smolensk and laid siege to it. They were opposed by 6,000 Russian soldiers commanded by Voivode Shein, as well as 15,000 town residents. The siege lasted nearly 2 years. All Polish attacks failed. The Russians didn't want to surrender. However, the last winter of 1611 was devastating. The besieged lacked drinking water, provisions and ammunition. By the summer of 1611, the Russians could put on the walls not more than 400 soldiers. The chronicle relates that one of the besieged, Andrei Dedeschin, couldn't withstand the rigors and exertions of war anymore, defected to the enemy camp, betraying the weak points of the defense line. Exactly there, the Poles exploded the wall on June the 3rd and penetrated into the town through the breach. Nikolai Karamzin reported in his chronicle History of the Russian State about severe street fights. Last defenders took shelter in the old Assumption Cathedral. As they saw no chance for salvation, they set fire to gunpowder stored under the cathedral and exploded themselves, their children and property. All of them died, but not in vain. Until 1654, Smolensk belonged to the Polish crown and remained the capital of the Smolensk voivodeship. Numerous resettlers were attracted to Smolensk, enjoying a wide range of privileges. New Catholic churches appeared. Moscow didn't stop trying to get Smolensk back. It is worth to mention the 2-year siege of Smolensk in 1632-34, which ended in disaster for Russian troops and the execution of their commander Shein. Overdelighted Poles struck commemorative coins in memory of the great victory, and only as late as 1654 the Russian Tsar Alexei Mikhailovich could finally regain control of Smolensk. In 1677 the construction of the new Assumption Cathedral began. It took long 95 years. Several times the construction plan was amended. Meanwhile, 3 architects changed each other, and in Russia came and gone 10 rulers, like glorious Peter the Great or Catherine II, as well as the delicate baby Tsar Ivan Antonovich. The Assumption Cathedral was finally completed in 1772. In fact, the dimensions of the cathedral are impressive. It is 52 meters long, 42 meters wide, and up to 70 meters high. The cathedral witnessed numerous wars without having taken any serious damage. However, it was plundered mercilessly several times. In 1933, the Assumption Cathedral was closed by Bolsheviks who arranged a museum of art there. That might have saved the cathedral from being completely looted. The cathedral was reopened after the German troops seized Smolensk in August 1941. From that time on, the church service is being held regularly. The Assumption Cathedral is full of treasures and devotional objects. We can't help but admire the beautiful gold and silver-plated iconostasis carved by Ukrainian craftsmen in the 17th century. The icon of Our Lady of Smolensk, painted in the 16th century by the famous icon painter Postnik Rostovtsov, is of enormous importance for all Russian Orthodox Christians. Unique is the Shroud of Christ embroidered with silk, gold and silver threads in the 16th century by Princess Efrosina Staritska, the aunt of Ivan the Terrible. You can also see the metal nitrous of St. Mercurius, the icon of Our Lady of Kazan, as well as other relics. In 1708, Smolensk became the capital of one of 8 newly established Russian provinces. Peter the Great visited the town several times, also after the decisive Russian victory over the Swedes at Lesnaya. In the 18th century appeared a lot of new stone buildings. At the site of the old wooden Ascension Convent, where Natalia Narishkina, mother of Peter the Great, once got to primary education, a new stone one was constructed. During this period, also built John the Baptist Church, the Trinity Monastery, the Epiphany Cathedral, the Down Church of St. Nicholas, the Monastery of St. Abraham and the Transfiguration of Our Lord, as well as dozens other churches, which unfortunately got lost forever. Catherine II pays a first visit to Smolensk in 1780, where she meets the German Emperor Joseph II. On the occasion of high-ranking visitors, a theatre, one of the first in Russia, was inaugurated. 7 years later, Catherine II visits Smolensk once again, this time during her famous tour to Crimea, arranged by Prince Potemkin, a native of Smolensk. Smolensk played an enormously important role during the Napoleon's invasion of Russia in 1812. Brave and tough defenders of Smolensk crossed Napoleon's plan to trap both Russian armies and defeat them separately. On August 4th and 5th, the Battle of Smolensk, one of the decisive battles of the whole campaign, took place. The French did their best to take the town on August the 1st, Napoleon's birthday, but all in vain. 15,000 Russians, commanded by General Raevsky, warded off all attacks of 180,000 French soldiers of the Napoleon's Grand Army. On August the 5th, General Dokhtyrov overtook the general command. He had to cover the retreat of the Russian armies to Moscow. All efforts of the French did not succeed on this day as well. The whole town of Smolensk was nearly completely ruined and burned to the ground. The last Russian troops left Smolensk on August the 6th, destroying the bridges behind them. The French army marched into the burned down town. On August the 17th, a new Russian commander-in-chief was installed, Mikhail Kutuzov. Several days later, the French and Russian armies clashed at Borodino, where the total casualties on both sides are estimated at 100,000, the bloodiest battle right up to the World War I. Napoleon conquered Moscow, but Russia is still fighting. The subsequent disordered and hasty retreat of French troops ended in disaster. The early winter brought extreme minus temperatures below minus 23 degrees centigrade. Late October, lost 38,000 French troops, hardly 7% of the once glorious Grand Army, marched into Smolensk. The disillusioned and disappointed Napoleon ordered to blow up the fortress wall. These events are commemorated on numerous monuments: the Adamini monument in honor of the glorious defenders of Smolensk, the obelisk tomb of the generals Calon, the monument of the Sofisky regiment, the monument and the bust of the field marshal Kutuzov. Directly at the fortress wall, the Ella of Heroes was laid out. In 1913, the monument of eagles unveiled. It displays allegorically the Battle of Smolensk, two eagles symbolizing both Russian armies, the nest, the town of Smolensk, and the Gallic warrior, the French Emperor Napoleon. In the late 19th century, two railway lines were built crossing Smolensk, the first from Riga to Oryol and the second one from Moscow to Brest. Smolensk became an important railway hub. In 1901, the first power plant started operating, and in the same year, the citizens of Smolensk saw the first tram. The first tram line covered a stretch of around 6 kilometers. In the beginning of the 20th century, the town's population counted about 60,000. The town could boast 30 primary and 8 secondary schools, 3 libraries and 3 museums, including the Ethnographic Museum, which building was constructed and paid for by Princess Stanisheva, a great benefactor and art collector. Smolensk suffered heavy damages and losses in the Second World War. The German occupation lasted over 2 years. Around 93% of the Smolensk housing stock was destroyed. 3/4 of its population died. Smolensk was liberated on September the 25th, 1943. Yearly on this day, Smolensk is now celebrating its town festival. The monuments of the Second World War remind us of cruelties and violence of war, as well as of heroic deeds of our ancestors. We are very grateful to them for their clever and far-sighted decision to rebuild the town like it looked like in the early 20th century. So it is ever old but ever young as well. That's why one always wants to come back here and see it once again. Our short sightseeing tour ends on Lenin Square, which in fact should be called Unity Square, because every important political party would easily find their symbol on it. The building of the provincial administration belongs to the governing party United Russia. The Communist Party claims the Lenin Monument as its own. The Blonny Park is a popular meeting place for environment supporters because it has green oasis directly in the downtown. Besides, it is very popular with music friends, as here stands the monument to Glinka, one of the greatest Russian musicians and the founder of the Russian Classical Music School. And it is a park for children and full of children. On Lenin Square, you can hardly overlook the local Arc de Triomphe displaying the governmental awards of Smolensk, the Order of the Patriotic War, the Order of Lenin, and the Gold Star Medal of the Hero of the Soviet Union. No more existing awards of the no more existing country USSR. By the way, it was Mikhail Gorbachev who brought the Order of Lenin to Smolensk, the man in whose presidency the Soviet Union ceased to exist and disappeared from the political map. However, it is a completely other story. We thank you so much for your attention. I would like to welcome you to Smolensk. More information you will find on our website.